Hey everybody, this is Michael Bryson and Gregory Ulysse for This Is Bodybuilding. How you doing, Greg?
Very good, very good. I'm in Orlando now.
Yeah, I can't wait to be there. I won't be there till Thursday morning. What a great week. Olympia week. Exciting times.
It's the best time of the year. That's the time.
Yeah.
It's a good one this
Christmas.
year. Yeah. Yeah, Christmas in October, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Christmas and the Super Bowl and WrestleMania wrapped up together.
That's exactly.
So might as well do our Olympia preview this week. We just have a few days until it's actually starting. This is Tuesday. They haven't put out yet. Usually they do it sometime on Tuesday. The list, the actual people who are competing. I just have right now the people who are qualified for the Olympia. I have those lists, but I know that a number of these people are not necessarily doing the show. But we can start with men's open bodybuilding if that's good with you, and then we'll do our predictions.
For sure.
I'm not necessarily going to nail my top predictions. I'm not going to even try necessarily to go 1 through 5 or 6. I might, but some of them are so hard to do that. I'm going to say who I think is the most likely winner. But
okay. But then again, after that,
feel free to do what you want to do with your top 5 or 6, and maybe I'll follow suit. I don't know. But I'll name the guys first that are in men's open bodybuilding who have qualified for it at any rate. William Bonac, Hadi Chupan, Brandon Curry, Nathan Diasha. I don't think he's coming. I'm not sure.
No, he's not doing it.
Yeah. Mamdo Elsbaye, who is Mr. Olympia. Yeah. Reagan Grimes, Phil Heath, who is not doing it.
No.
James Hollingshead, Hunter Labrada, Patrick Moore, Hassan Mustafa, Andrea Presti, Justin Rodriguez, Mohammed Shaban, Vladislav from the Ukraine. I'll butcher his last name if I say it. Ian Valier.
Yes.
If you get it right. Nicholas Walker, Akeem Williams, and Ruli Winkler. Is Ruli doing it? Do you know?
He's in Orlando.
He is.
He's here.
Okay, that's good. He's not necessarily going to be in my top 6, though.
Go ahead, go.
So I'm just going to say this, not in order of placings right away. At least I'm just going to say how they're listed on this list, who I think will be in the top 6. I'm going to do the top 6 for the Mr. Olympia.
Okay.
William Bonac, Hadi Chupan, Brandon Curry, Mamdo Elsbaye. Then I'm going to jump all the way down to Ian Valier and Nick Walker.
It's a good top 6.
That's my top 6.
It's a good top 6, which I like a lot. But you know what? I got some. There's a dark horse in there. James Hollingshead.
Oh yeah.
I've been watching him. He can, I'm not saying top 6, but he can hurt a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Right. I agree with you. He's got a lot of size. And last year he qualified for the show. After the Olympia, I think he won 2 shows.
He won 2 shows. Yeah.
And his back was vastly improved from what it was the year before. And this, we haven't seen him since, I guess that was December.
Yeah.
And now his progress pictures, like from this week, his back looks nutty. He looks really, really dangerous. He could be the top 6 for sure.
He could be. I mean, you know what? And the strategy that he took, I mean, now guys are doing the same thing this year. You have Cedric and Sergio picking shows after the Olympia to qualify for next year. So he started a trend. So now people are getting it now. The thing with James, since he qualified so early, people forgot about him. So there's no pressure or nothing. But from the pictures he's putting up, people are gonna start looking at him, and they better start looking at him seriously, because to me that's a top 10 physique right there. Easy.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Easy.
I didn't mention Akeem Williams. Akeem last year was 6th. Just last week, or a little over a week ago, we saw him at the Arnold Classic, and he was a bit off. Now it's possible that he can change all that and be right back up there, but I don't know.
You know what? Because he has 2 weeks. He had 2 weeks to fix things up. And you know what? If Hakeem can fix these things, Hakeem is a top 6 finisher.
Oh, sure, yeah.
He's a top 6 finisher easy. You know what? The only thing I don't like with the Hakeem situation is the hopping of trainers. That's the thing that's really is not great. You had a formula last year. Now you're doing something else this year. Now you have 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to fix it. And with people coming into that show, because we know the Olympians can be stronger than the Arnold. Mm-hmm. I wish him that he can. I mean, he's a top 10. Can you replicate what he did last year? It's going to be hard because the guys this year are better than last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think everyone, yes. He's working right now with one of the premier coaches in the industry, Abdullah from Oxygen Gym. Mm-hmm. But Abdullah is also working with 2 guys who are definitely going to be in the top 5. Yeah. William Bonac and, of course, Brandon Curry. So I'm not saying that Abdullah doesn't have the ability to multitask. I'm sure he does.
He does, for sure.
But those 2 guys who are already top 5 guys, who one's a Mr. Olympia, Brandon Curry, and William is placed as high as 2nd. They might get, I don't know. Yeah, they might be his primary concerns. But
I get what you're saying. You know what? I mean, of the 3, William and Brendan are sure bet. That they're going to come in shape. That's not even a question. It's just how in shape will they be? There's no debate in our heads. With Hakeem, it's been a debate for the longest time. Because it's like it's a stop and go. Like he moves up and then goes down. Moves up, then goes down. So we never know which we're going to get. We never know. Instead of I was saying Cedric. William and Brendan, we know they're going to be in there. There's no debate for that, So I wish if Hakeem can come in because I'll give you okay, if Hakeem comes in like last year, I'm not even sure if he gets top 6.
It's going to be harder this year. It's because, Ian Valliere, to me, has stepped up his game.
There you go.
And he's proven, I know he was just 2 weeks ago competed for his 3rd time this year, and he's competed pretty much in rapid succession, but he's nailed his condition every time. If anything, he's gotten better as he's gone along. Maybe his best was in the middle there at the Texas Pro, but he was very good.
And Columbus. Talk about Ian, like you're saying, you know what? I mean, the difference in between all versions are very minute, but he's always in shape. Uh-huh. There's no the difference with Hakeem is there's the discrepancy. There's he's either really on or really not.
Yeah. And when he's not, it'll hurt him in this lineup, I think, for sure.
It's gonna be exposed.
You put him next to Ian, if he's off and Ian's really on as Ian can be, it's just gonna knock him out. And it's weird because, honestly, when he was with Justin Miller, I'm talking about Hakeem, and he won the show in Puerto Rico. I thought he's definitely gonna make top 5 this year, and I just figured he was going to be moving up and actually might have a chance to be Mr. Olympia. But after what we saw in Columbus, it again cast doubts on that.
A lot of doubts because you and I, we know, structurally speaking, Ian should not be even in the same conversation with Hakeem. Should not. Yeah. And that's a testament to Ian that he's very good, and because normally with the structure that Hakeem has, he should be a shoo-in.
The structure and the amount of muscle. Wow.
Easy, not even a debate. I mean, to a point that other athletes should not even name his name.
Right.
you would go, okay, no, it's Akeem, we know. But whatever. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. You know, I would say of the 6 people that I named, William, Hottie, Brandon, Nathan, no, sorry, Mando, Big Ramy, Ian, and Nick Walker. I think the person who I would say has the best chance of placing 6th in the top 6 is Ian.
Yeah.
I would say that the guys who have the best chance of winning the show, anyone can win the show of the rest of the top 5 that I've mentioned. Big Ramy, of course, is Mr. Olympia. He's with Chad. If he is shredded, if he is as good or a little better than last year, he's going to be really hard to dethrone. I know Brandon has changed the philosophy or approach for this show. He's coming in fuller than he was last year. Last year, they had in mind that they had to beat Phil Heath because we assumed Phil Heath would be the top guy last year. I still had him second. But Brandon was gearing his approach to beating Phil. So they came in as conditioned as possible. But in doing so, he lost a lot of the roundness and fullness that he can have. So this year, they're trying to bring in that conditioning plus the size and fullness. When Brandon is full and round, he's very pleasing to the eye, very aesthetically pleasing. And he's another guy who could win his second Olympia, in my opinion.
And you know what? You're right. You're right about that one. I mean, right now, the title is not, Ramy does not have a solid grip on the title. Okay, yeah. It's not Philippe 2011. It's not Ronnie 98. When these guys, when they got it, you know, they were not like leaving us, you know. You know what? Ali can win. Brandon can win. The mutant will hurt people. Again, will, you know. And you know, it all comes down to when Ramy comes in last to do his presentation. We'll know from there if there's a show or not. Once he starts posing, we'll know.
Yeah.
Because if he leaves the door open, there's a lot of people that can go in there. A lot of people. More, and I would say, you know what? And I'll even go further, more than last year.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, I think I still think that the top guys, I think William and Hottie, as well as Brandon, all have a chance of winning.
Yeah.
You know, they do. I mean, William, I think William is a dark horse always. I think he's always in the back of people's minds and never in the forefront. And honestly, it's kind of a shame because he's sort of missing nothing. I've always been a huge fan of his physique. His structure, some people, you know, he's a little shorter than some, not as short as others, but yeah, he really is missing nothing. He's got great arms, great pecs, great back, legs. I think his legs have, he's gotten the symmetry back again. The one leg was a little downsized in 2019.
Yeah.
Due to injury, but he's looking great again. And he's got Abdullah who's helping him in these last, you know, in this last several weeks he's been there. I still think he's always got a fighter's chance of winning the Olympia. Hadi Choopan, amazing. He's been here longer this year with Hani Rambod than he has ever been for his Olympia prep in the States. He's another guy. He could win this show.
And you know what? You were talking about William. I mean, now the thing with William this year now, William has people that can compare to him. Like, in a sense that, you know what, sometimes he was the odd man out because his shape was different than everybody else. Now you have him, you have Nick, and you have Adi, who are about in the same mold.
Similar heights, yeah.
Similar heights, same mold. So that's going to be fun for that part, you know, because now you have guys, these 3 guys look alike, almost to a point that Brendan Curry looks different.
Yeah, Brandon's definitely got a very different, height-wise, he's similar to those guys, but he's got a different silhouette, a different, that cartoon, like if you were to draw what a bodybuilder would look like, maybe for like a Bugs Bunny cartoon or something, he would look like that. Tiny waist, huge upper shoulders, and arms. If I have to pick the guy who I think is going to win, and I really don't know, it's so competitive. I think I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to pick Nick Walker to win this Olympia.
Oh my God, so you're going, okay. Yeah.
I'm going to pick Nick Walker. I'll tell you, so see, this is the thing about Nick. I mean, would I have thought this before the Arnold? No. But everything he has said he was going to do, and Matt Jansen, his coach, they have done. And it wasn't even a question of it being close at the Arnold. It wasn't close. And I'm a huge fan, and I like Steve Kuklo and Ian Valliere a lot. But it was really a battle between those two, I think.
Yeah,
the runner was clearly Nick.
And
if he's beating these guys who have been top 6, even Steve has been top 6 in the Olympia, Ian top 7. He beat them easily. So I think he's definitely in that top 6. I'm going to say he's definitely top 5. I said it before, I would be more surprised if he places 6th than I would be if he wins. And there's some sort of gut feeling I have that's telling me that he is going to make history and be the first guy in the history of the sport since Larry Scott to win his first Olympia.
You know what? And on top of that, it would be the only guy to have won the 3 shows in the same calendar year on your second year.
Arnold Classic, New York Pro, Arnold Classic.
In the same year, same calendar year. And you know what? Here's the question. Because know what it is? Rami has to come in. Because that's why I'm saying Nick winning would be huge, but I'm not saying no. The advantage that Rami has, he's the champ.
Of course.
Okay. So
but Brandon had that advantage last year.
No, he didn't. Because you know why? Because he came up with a Rami that was outstanding. And we all knew if Rami would come in, because there was nothing like Rami. You know? Here's my question on that one. And for people that remember history, remember Victor Martinez. Victor got second against not a great J. It's like the Olympia champion has that card that we leave you one, but it's the one we're giving you. If next year you come in not as good, we take it off from you. For now, for Nick to win, Nick has to not beat Ronnie. He has to really make it so obvious that even for someone that does no bodybuilding goes, who the hell are you? And that's something that's very hard. And what I'm saying is this, I'm not saying he can't win. He will probably win the Olympia down the road. Is it this year? I don't know. But to me, this year, he's going to knock on that door very loud and will create probably that rivalry between him and Rami. Because to me, it's inevitable if Nick goes on to the same path, the Olympia is right around the corner. But I believe in my head that this year, he will make a huge statement for him to be the next one.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's definitely going to win. You know, I certainly think any of those guys, Rami's got the best chance as the defending champion, and he is a freak. But if I were to look, this is, you know, if I look at them body part to body part, I got to go with Nick with more parts. You know, his arms are better.
Yeah.
His abs are better.
Yeah, ginormous, yeah.
His back is better. His legs are more balanced with the rest of his body. He's got those varicose veins popping up in his front of his calves, but it doesn't seem to hurt him because the calf size from the back shots are more proportion to his upper leg than Rami's. I don't know. It's going to be a really interesting contest to see. I definitely think yes. Nick to me will be top 4 at the worst.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Honestly, if he finishes 4th, it means 2 things. Either he missed everything, or the top 3 was just outstanding. But I believe that Nick will. You know what? In that top 6, Nick is a sure bet.
Yeah. All right. Should we move on to 212 or?
Yeah, let's go 212 because.
But let's also mention. I would mention some other guys real quick though in bodybuilding that I think another guy who I think might shake things up a bit is Hunter Labrada.
Yes.
Hunter's very balanced. He's got great size, shape. His posing, his presentation of his physique is spot on. If he's just sharper than we've ever seen him before, he's another guy who could be top 6 as well.
Yes.
He's a very, very, very good bodybuilder who's got a bright future. Possibly a future Mr. Olympia as well, in my opinion.
And one thing before we jump on the 212, we always forget him, Justin Rodriguez. We always forget him, and he pops up like we did last week. He popped up.
Yeah, Justin is someone who I've always had in a certain category in my mind. He was top 9 in last year. I think he was 9th.
Yeah.
He's very, very good. But I think that we saw this year, he's been very good all year long. And then he really showed improvement just 2 weeks ago in his back at the Arnold Classic. And his legs also came up a little bit. He had a little bit of stomach distension issues, I think, but if he controls that, yeah, he can be top 9 again this year for sure.
Because remember, he beat Akeem last week.
Yeah, he's got crazy biceps too. Yeah, he looks good in a lot of poses. His front double by, his back double by are really, really strong shots.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Okay, 212. Okay, 212.
212. So there's a bunch of guys in this one, and I'm going to mispronounce most of their names. Noel Adame,
yep.
Ahmad Ashkenani, Kareth Bejo, Steve Benton from Germany, Piotr from Poland. I don't know I'm mispronouncing his name completely. He might surprise, but I don't think he's going to be in the running here. Tonio Burton, Sean Clarita,
yes.
Lucas Coelho, Pascal D'Angelo, Kamal Elgarni. Is that how you pronounce Kamal's last name?
Yeah, Elgarni. I saw him last night, actually.
Yeah, another amazing bodybuilder. Ahmad El Wardney from Egypt, who is really good. Nathan Epler, Angel Calderon, Vladimir from Moldova, John Jewett, Junho Kim, Derek Lunsford, Nasser Mohammed, Keon Pearson, and George Peterson. Well, all those guys, there's a bunch of guys, and P is the last letter in the alphabet that they're in. There's no one.
Yeah, I know.
Olympia. Do you want to go first with this one with who your top 5?
Okay, I'll go first. I don't know if you've seen like posts of people. I cannot in my mind imagine people forgetting about George, forgetting about Kamal. How can people forget about 2 guys that finished like 2nd and 3rd? I don't get it. Because I've seen people talk about Keon and all that, which is great. But you still have to think George Peterson and Kamal are certainties. These guys, they're going to be in shape. There's not even a debate, And to me, 212 is even harder than open because a lot of guys are close.
Yeah.
There's no, you know what? I mean, Sean last year just looked like a mini Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, it's like Ronnie and if you took 98 Ronnie and Flex Wheeler and slammed them together and then
he made him and
shut him down, that's Sean. He was amazing.
And as we said, you know what? And that show is so close in the sense that in the names that we named, there's 8 guys that can be top 5.
Yeah.
8 guys that can be top 5 easy. That Calderon and all that. 8 guys, So I mean, if I go out of the limb and I call it top 5, I would go Sean, I'd go Kamal, I'd go George, I'd go Derek, and Keon. Top 5. And I say Keon with a caveat. Keon better have his conditioning better. Because as great as his shape is, you have guys behind him who have conditioning to die.
Yeah. The 212 guys, some of them get incredibly shredded.
Yeah.
Noel Adame gets shredded.
There you go.
Calderon,
same thing.
Shredded. John Jewett, shredded. So I'm going to agree with you that that's my top 5. And I agree with you about Keon. He's going to have to. He's beaten so many people though who are more conditioned. He's so gifted with his shape though. I think he's going to have to be. It's the Olympia stage, so I think he's going to have to be better than we've seen him. And I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be top 5.
I think so too. But the thing is, the 4 on top of him, and you know what? Even Derek with Ani now, and I've seen footage of Derek training. Derek looks crazy.
Right.
He's wow.
Look, I'm going to say with this show, I have Keon in 5th, and then the next 4 guys, it's anybody's ball game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sean Clarita, really going to be hard to beat, man. He's got everything in terms of, he doesn't have the most size, but he doesn't need the most size. He's got a lot of size for his frame right now. And I don't know how much bigger he can be. He'll probably be a couple pounds up from what we saw last year, but I don't know. He's got the roundness, great condition, separation. He's got a physique that looks like a Mr. Olympia because he, like we said, looks sort of like Ronnie Flex combined. In 212, he looks like Mr. Olympia. So he could definitely.
And the thing is also he has a purpose now this year.
Yeah, he lost his trainer, John Meadows. A lot of people were seeing, at the Arnold, we kind of saw how people like Terrence and people like Missy, who were already great, came in at their all-time best, a lot because they were dedicating their performances to John. So,
and same thing with what's his name? I go off topic. What's his name? Samson Doda. Same thing.
Yes, he looked amazing. I had him winning that show. Nothing against Nathan Diasha, but his shape is just perfect.
Yeah,
Nathan's got his obliques are starting to pop out. Great physique. Nothing against Nathan. His torso's a little longer. Here, I just said nothing against him, and I'm putting out things that I have against him, but it's only against someone like Samson, who his proportions, symmetry, balance is just beautiful. That's a guy who he needs to be on the Olympia stage, man. He is
Probably next year.
beautiful physique. Yeah.
Probably next year. Yeah.
So back to the 212.
Back to the yeah.
You know, in that top 4, Kamal cannot be forgotten. He was second last year. They had him. He was first 2 years ago.
And he lost by a point last year.
He lost by 1 point. Now,
point.
I personally had Sean winning that show pretty. I just think his shape and everything, and I had Sean winning pretty clearly, and I was there up close. But they were both great bodybuilders.
And you know what? I agree with you on that. But the thing with Kamal is so perfect in every aspect that you needed a freak like Sean to beat him.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for Sean, he would win the show.
Yeah. His presentation is perfect too.
Everything.
It's beautifully. Kamal is like so polished. He's so polished, and his conditioning is spot on. Is he with Chris Aceto?
Yeah, still, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's another guy that could be Mr. Olympia again. Who else was in my top 4?
George
and
Derek.
Derek. Okay, so these are both, my top 4, all 4 of those guys can win this show. Derek is genetically, I mean, he's like, he's gifted, like the gift, like Phil Heath in terms of, not quite, because he's missing a couple body parts, but great shape, amazing back. When he is full, he is really, really dangerous. I think working with Hani, we're going to see the best ever Derek Lunsford. He is someone who could easily win his first Olympia this year. That's someone that I think people thought he was a future Mr. Olympia in 212.
Yeah, for sure.
From the moment he stepped on stage, he became 5th. He was 5th place in his first Olympia.
But he won. Remember, within the span, I remember it was 2017. Within a span of a month, he went from winning the overall the nationals, winning Tampa, 5th place at the Olympia.
Yeah, just a phenomenal story there, and yeah, he's someone who can definitely win. And I'm going to say that if I have to pick who I think has the best chance of upsetting Sean Clarita, I'm going to go with the guy who I said last year was last year I said George Peterson was going to win the Olympia. It wasn't going to be close, and he was going to win it hands down. He came in a little off last year. He was, I don't know if it was flat. I don't know. He just didn't have all the pop that he usually has.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, he's been completely shadowed.
Oh, I would say nothing.
You haven't seen a thing. Like, I've seen some things, but that doesn't mean a thing until the day of the show. But I have, I've got a strong feeling we're going to see the best George Peterson ever. And I think he just might win his first Olympia.
You know what? It's very possible. You know what? The thing with George, you know what? If we look at all the bodybuilders, either 212 or open or classic, George is one of the most regular guys of all the athletes combined. This guy has been on top of his game for the last 5 years. He's been on, and you know what? Like, you know what happened last year? I think what happened, like, it was probably a little off, but it's not so much it was off. Is that we were not expecting Clarita to look like that.
Right. Yeah, but George was not, his detail wasn't fully in, like,
No,
like
I did that for sure.
They were also still getting used to that. He put on 20 pounds a year, and it was an adjustment that was being made. And you know, they were learning things, and this year now he's just as big, and it's more solid. There's more muscle that's like, his back looks insane. So he has if he comes in, if he is as shredded as he was in 2019, with the size that he has now, he's going to be really hard to beat. Really hard to beat. But all four of those guys, and five, because if Keon is shredded too, very dangerous. It's going to be a great show.
Oh, and I got a question for you now.
Mm-hmm.
Of all the new guys that came in 212, that won this year, Tony Burton and Napler, all these guys, who do you think is going to place the highest?
I don't know. I like Nathan Epler's physique a lot. I don't know if he's got enough thickness.
Exactly, yeah.
I really like Ahmed, who won the Texas Pro. He's not new, but he's newly rising up, and he's got a beautiful physique.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
Man, if he nails his conditioning, he's another guy who's just, I think next year for sure, he's going to be more of a threat even.
Because his front double bicep is something else.
He needs to work on some of his posing, I think, just in the mandatory. Some of them he hits a little oddly. But the great. The front double bicep is great. I don't know. It's really, who do you have? Who do you think of those new guys? Tony Burton's great too. Yeah.
You know what? Epler. I have the feeling that he might miss, as you said, a bit of thickness, because you know what? Nathan was in lineups this year with people that looked like him, in a sense.
Yeah. It was a more aesthetic crew, like a more
exactly. Yes.
Classic looking.
Almost classic. There you go. And now you're in Olympia with a totally different look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you put him next to someone like Ahmad Ashkenani, who we didn't mention yet, but Ahmad's got crazy size. To me, he's going to fall out of the top 5 this year, but might not. You never know. They love him.
You never know. And you know what? Probably Ahmad's going to be the one that's going to be probably do the most. Because you know what? Because he has improved every show, and he got better at Texas when he won. So if he goes on that trend, probably he's going to get a lot better. Probably, you know what? Probably 6th or 7th place. Who knows?
Yeah, I can see that. I agree with you. Moving on to Classic. There's almost too many names to mention.
30 guys.
There's like 30 guys, I think, that have qualified. I'm just going to say the guys who I think are going to be in top places.
Okay.
Or should I say the other? I'll just say all their names.
Yeah, all the names. Go.
Okay. Breon, of course, former Mr. Olympia, two-time champion. Sorry, my eyes are bad. This guy from Spain, Jose Maria Meta Barabal. I'm going to kill his last name. Jose from Spain.
Yes. Chris
Bumstead, Alex Cambronero, Tommy Clark, German Pastor Cueto from Spain, Neil Curry. Is Neil doing it?
I don't know. Is he?
I don't know. Neil Curry, Saber Favors, Brian Jones, Urs Kalaskinski from Germany. Urs, I killed your last name. I'm sorry. George Kawalawu, Sungwon Kim, Brady King, Lazio Kirali, Gabriel Machado, Fabian Mayer, Peter Molnar, Courage Opara, Roman Juarez, I killed his last name, from Brazil, and Terrence Ruffin. Oh my God, there's so many names.
I'm telling you, there's 3 names.
Abtin Shekarabi, Mike Summerfield, Tony Tavares, Robert Timms, Darwin Andrus Uribe, Wesley Vizers, Divine Wilson, In Seong Yu, and Danny Yunin.
Okay.
So many names, so many great talents too, man.
Yes.
This is another one that's hard to pick, but if I was to go down the line here and name the guys who I think would be my top 6, maybe top 7, because there's so many.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Breon,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Bumstead,
Yes.
Alex Cambronero,
Yes.
Brian Jones.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Courage Apara,
Yes. Okay.
Terrence Ruffin,
Yes.
Robert Tim. So that's 7 guys.
Oh boy. Okay. I had that. I had that too. I had the same ones too. Oh wow. Ooh. Oh yeah.
Who do you have winning?
Winning. Oh, okay. No. Okay. On that one, easy picking. I mean, Chris Bumstead right now owns this class. If there's somebody right now that has a stranglehold on that title, it's him. He is the one. I mean, Chris now, the only way Chris can lose if he just misses a lot. And he improved last year when he came on stage. I remember going, oh my God. The show was over from the moment he stepped on that stage.
Yeah.
It was over. And I said to people a lot of things about Classic. The 2 things that Chris has on his side, he has youth, and he's still not even close to the weight limit, which boggles the mind because he's 25, okay? And the way things are going, and as you know how it is, as you get more into Olympia's wins, the likelihood of you losing are slim and slim and slim. I mean, you know what? Chris right now is the face of the class. He speaks well. The body just improves. I mean, honestly speaking, of all the 3 classes that we have just made now, the easiest winner is that one.
Yes, I will agree with you. Chris Bumstead, I was always having him in my top 3, usually in 3rd place for the years that he was placing 2nd even.
Yeah.
Even the first year when he won, right? He won in 2019.
Yes.
Right? I didn't have him winning that show. Not that I'm not a fan of his. I think he was great. But then last year, the changes he made, the improvements he made to his back specifically, he went from having probably one of the weaker backs in the top 5 to having by far the best back on stage, which was just freaky to see that amount of change. He had 0 weaknesses last year. His arms had come up in size a little bit. He's perfect for that division. You know, I think what's cool about Classic, it's harder for these guys to sort of ruin their physiques unless something happens like a pec tear or something like that. Because they're not doing certain things. They're keeping the midsections tight. The proportions aren't going out of whack. If he just keeps nailing his condition and making the slight improvements as he goes, if he can even anymore, he's going to be really hard to ever knock off the throne, in my personal opinion.
I agree with you on that one. And you know what? I was saying that to someone about last year when there was that fight between Breon and him. I was saying to people, forget about the physique, forget about everything. There is a 16-year gap in between the 2 guys. One guy is at the limit at 41, cannot improve anymore. The other guy is 16 years younger and has an 8-pound leeway, and he beat him while he was sick.
Yep.
So if you put that together, you're like, how can he lose?
Yeah, I think earlier on, even in 2019, that Breon's age helped him in that he had muscle maturity over Chris.
Yes.
His physique to me, I still think Breon's physique is pretty perfect in terms of his hardness, separation, balance, proportion, everything. But last year, Chris came into his own. His physique is maturing now. And like you said, once you're in your 40s, the battle is to maintain, I think. And I don't know how much improvements you can see, especially if Breon is at the weight limit.
He's at the limit, bro. He's at the limit.
Yeah.
He can't go anymore. So, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, and what I'm saying this, Breon's physique is amazing. For people that never see him in person, his back is retarded. His arms are retarded. I mean, it's retarded. To look like that at 180 or whatever his weight is. The only thing is that you got to remember at one time, as good as he looks, you cannot fight age. And you cannot fight youth. And like you said last year, Chris came into his own. And once you come into your own as an Olympian, and we know history, remember Phil, remember Ronnie, remember Lehaney, once these guys got into it, you can't touch them anymore. They decide their destiny at this point.
Yeah.
And Chris is getting into that. I mean, remember, he's going for number 3. And once you get to number 3, 4 or 5 at 4 is pretty close.
Yeah, no one's won 3 yet.
No,
in this division. We've only had Danny won his first. He won the first Mr. Olympia and was the only one. First Classic Olympia, I should say. He won the one, then he was done, and Breon won 2.
Yes.
Now Chris has won 2, and if he wins the 3rd, he'll be the first to do that. That's true, and it'll also be. I think once you hit 3-2, it's like now you've got an era that's yours, not just
exactly. Yeah. You need 3.
Yeah.
To me, era is 3.
Yeah. I'm actually going to say about Breon, I think he's amazing. I think that he is close to perfect, but I don't know if we're going to see him in the top 3 this year. I think if I was to go who I think is going to be second, I think Terrence Ruffin, who was second last year, I think he'll be second again this year. He showed improvement like Chris did last year at the Olympia. At this Arnold Classic, Terrence's back was much improved. His legs are great. His posing is the best in the sport of bodybuilding, period, any division. Maybe he has a couple rivals in women's physique, but that's about it. When it comes to posing, he is, well, actually, Logan Franklin is also an amazing poser. There's other amazing posers in Classic, but Terrence, to me, is just on a
different level.
Different level. He's amazing. I think he's going to be second, but a guy who I think is going to be in the top 3 with these 2, sort of knocking Breon out of the top 3, is, in my opinion, Robert Timms.
Yeah, you know what? I have Robert, and I'll go even one more. Alex is dangerous. Alex got second last week. Alex is dangerous. But Robert is, if Robert comes in like he did in Texas, or a bit better, I can see it. But, okay, you know what? I'll go one more for you now, okay? I believe that Alex and Robert are going to beat Breon.
Okay, so you're putting Breon in the fifth place.
Yeah.
And you're saying 3rd is going to be between Alex and Robert.
Yeah.
It's very possible. That's definitely my top 5.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I put Breon ahead of Alex only for this reason. Both guys are similar in that they have all body parts and their bodies flow. I just think that Breon's got a little more pop to his muscle, a little more pizzazz or something.
Yeah.
I think his physique to me just pops more. It is more, it stands out more on stage than Alex. Alex is phenomenal and could definitely. It's possible. Yes, it's possible. He looked really, really good last week in Columbus, so it's very possible. But I think that's the top five. The other guys that I had mentioned, Courage, Opara, and
Brian Jones.
who? Oh, Brian Jones.
Ah.
Brian Jones, this is a guy, again, now he is still, I'm going to say he's still a wild card who could place as high as second and as low as seventh in this lineup. It all depends on what we see from him. He is a guy, I kind of want to see him move on to open just because I think he can be huge. I mean, physically huge. He already looks at it in this division, probably along with Robert Timms, the biggest arms in this class division. His chest is huge. Great shape to his legs. He just lacks separation. I think that that's just his conditioning. I don't know.
And you know what? You said something about Brian Jones. You know what? I mean, 2 weeks ago, he didn't nail it that well. But I'll agree with you on that one. If he nails it, he gets top two. Because as good as Terrence is, the other guy is so big. He's so big, and his proportions are insane. Because I want to see, because 2 weeks ago, Brian Jones was not in shape compared to Terrence. But if they happen to be equal, like in the condition wise, it's going to be a tough battle for Terrence, even though Terrence can win.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. I mean, I just saw from yesterday some stuff of Terrence, and he's looking even more crazy.
Yeah.
He's going to be peeled. I mean, his back, every little sinew I'm seeing, and I think man, I think Terrence is going to be second. Robert Timms, to speak on Robert Timms really quickly, at the Texas Pro Show that he won, I was there, and he was a freak. It was like his upper body is just completely insane. I think he'll have the best upper body in the show in a way because he's got the arms that are just killer.
Yeah.
If his legs come up a little bit, he's another guy who could be standing next to Chris at the end. I don't know. I have him in my top three for sure. Now, we've been talking for almost an hour. We haven't got to the women at all.
Okay.
What should we do first? Which division do you want to speak on first? Women's physique?
Let's do women's physique.
Yeah, because we know some people in there. Okay, a lot of women in women's physique, at least that are qualified. I'm not sure here. It looks like 20 something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 2, 23, 24. Now, whether all 24 will be there, I don't know. But some big names in this division: Elizabeth Bradshaw, Danny Costello, who is great. Tanya Chartrand, also very good. Laura Pintado, very good. Natalia Abraham Coelho, amazing. Lenka from the Czech Republic. I don't know if she's doing it.
She's in Cancun.
It was just weird because this girl won 2 shows, placed second in 2 shows. It's got one of the most amazing physiques I've seen. I hope. It's weird. It would be very weird for her to tried so hard during the year.
I know. She's in Cancun right now, so which means that, in my mind, you're in Cancun for 2 things right now with your bodybuilder: either vacation, or you're quarantining to go to the US. Maybe. But then again, you have to leave like soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope she's there. After that, there's Patricia Goslin. Shanique Grant, who's not doing the show.
I'm not doing so. Okay.
Anna Harris.
Okay.
Ashley Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Elisa Kiesling. Barbara Menage.
Oh, yeah.
Menage.
Yeah, the French girl, yeah.
Yeah. Anne Lorraine Moan.
Mm-hmm.
A young lady from South Korea named Bork Aima Park.
Okay.
Ivy Rain. Is Ivy doing it?
Yes, she's doing it.
Good.
She's doing it, yeah.
Caroline Alves dos Santos. Emily Renee Schubert. Melissa Tish, I guess is how you pronounce it. Carly Terepka.
Yeah, okay.
A young lady from Thailand who is amazing, and I don't know how to pronounce her name. Pemperguy.
Okay, well, yeah, okay.
Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. Sarah Villegas, who's the reigning champion. Brooke Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Christelle Zarowska.
Yes.
And Elisma Manuel Benta Zorzato.
Okay, it's a tongue twister.
I'm sorry, I'm horrible, and I should know all these names. Picking a top 5 for this show is really, really hard.
Okay.
Really hard. You go first.
I go first. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I would go Sarah. I would go.
Are you doing this in order or just naming the 5?
No, just name. Sarah. Danny.
If you want to do 6 or 7, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, Sarah, Danny. Ivy. I got Anne-Mon.
Who?
Anne-Mon, the French girl.
Oh yeah.
I got Patricia in there. Oh God. You know who's good? Her name on Instagram is Ivy Strong. She won Texas.
Oh yeah, so that's Ashley Jones.
Yes. She's good.
She's freaking great. Yeah, I love her.
You see? You know what? The way I'm seeing it, it looks like 212. There's so many people that can be top 5.
Yeah.
You know? Even Laura Pinto, even though Laura Pinto is depending. Because if she comes
Depends on what she does to herself. Yeah.
See? She's good.
She's very good.
She's good. But you know what? Those are my picks, and that's not in no order.
Yeah.
On your side, what do you see?
So I don't even know what to do with this because there's so many girls whose names could make the. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there's. I would be surprised if Sarah doesn't retain. To me, Sarah is another one she's going to be like freaking. And I said this about her last year when I was comparing her to the reigning Miss Olympia, Shanique, and why I thought she was going to win and why I think she did win is I compared Shanique to Flex Wheeler and Sarah to Dorian Yates. Shanique has all these physical gifts, wasn't always coming in at 100% conditioning. Sarah has built tons of hard muscle onto her back and through the rest of her body and comes in shape like Dorian Yates. So I think she's going to have a Dorian Yates-like reign where we see her retaining this title for a while, personally.
Which could be. And you know what? It's a good analogy because you know what? I remember we did a podcast last year and both of us said Sarah would win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the thing is with people did not accept the fact that someone as genetically gifted as Shanique could lose. But people forget that it's bodybuilding. It's not only structure, it's everything.
It's everything.
It's everything. It's the amount of everything, just not one thing. But people were not, accepting it.
Right.
But on this part, yes, Sarah's good. But you know what? She's great. But here's the thing about Sarah, though. I must say it like that. Her structure is not as gifted as Shanique was. Okay. But her condition is so pristine and so like top notch that she has to come in like that all the time, because her structure is not enough for her to carry. Let's say for example, she comes in 5% not as conditioned.
Right.
Her shape will not carry her like over, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think it will depend, because like if we talk about someone like Elizabeth Bradshaw, Liz Bradshaw is a great bodybuilder. She comes in shredded.
Yes.
But she's not, the muscle isn't as pretty.
No.
I think Sarah's still got very pretty.
Exactly.
Her muscle
very
looks
pretty.
great.
Yeah. Yes.
So she's not, I wouldn't say she's genetically deficient as much as Shanique was tremendously gifted. So I think Sarah, I don't know, Sarah, I think I don't know. I think we're going to see something different from her this year too. A little bit more muscle. I think she's going to be hard to beat. The rest of the top 5, I have to pick like 10 girls. It's like crazy, because you can see Danny in there. You didn't mention her, but I don't think you mentioned her. Natalia Cuello.
Yes. Oh my God, I forgot. Sorry. Because how can I forget? How can I forget?
Yeah,
Sorry.
She's great, and she's been second now.
Yes.
Third. She's been in the top 3 for a bit. Patricia, I'm going to put in the top 5 for sure. Patricia has really no weak points to her physique right now. She's brought up her back tremendously. Her lats are next level. I see no weaknesses in Patricia. Her arms are great. She this year has controlled her midsection. I think that's a big thing. That if I'm sure she's not. She's different in her diet. Everything is so precise. I don't know. I think she's top 5 for sure. Naming a bunch of people here. Ashley Jones, who won in Texas, beautiful muscle bellies, great separation. She's a beautiful girl. She could be top 5. She could be second. I realize I forgot Brooke. Brooke is another one. And I'm going to say that so is Ann Moan, for sure.
Yes.
Ivy Rain. I'm going to put some names. And I'm not going to sell short, although she is short. Alyssa Kiesling. Possibly pop it in there. Alyssa's got really right now no weaknesses to her physique either, and that everything flows greatly. She's got really beautiful muscle bellies, especially in her arms.
Yeah, arms.
Her arms are great. Bicep, triceps, forearms. Alyssa's posing is, when it comes to hitting her mandatories, her routine is going to be sensational too. If she, as long as she gets to do it. How many girls get to do the?
I don't know. They're going to do probably top 10, I guess.
Okay, yeah, she'll be top 10. I think I see Ulysse single digits and possibly in the top 5.
The only thing with Ulysse is that when she's alone on pictures, it's when we're going to stand her next to other girls, which probably the height will probably hinder her because she's short. So that may be that. Not saying she's not good.
Ulysse is someone who I've been friends with and who I've been, as soon as I saw her ever, few years back. I fell in love with her posing and her approach to bodybuilding and her love of it, everything from the training to the posing. She's just so dedicated to it, as they all are, all these top girls. But we have yet to see her in a lineup with truly top talent. She won the New York Pro, which is as prestigious as a show can be for women's physique. It's the most prestigious next to the Olympia, because there's no women's physique in the Olympia anymore, right? It's been a couple years.
Yeah, but no, I think this year there wasn't. This year, only this year.
It wasn't. Oh, is this the only one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so yeah, this year was the most prestigious show, and she won it. But the level of talent that was in that show was not there. There was only 6 girls, I think, in the division,
6. And
the other 2 who placed in the top 3. I think they've competed since then, and they didn't make it into a top 5 of any show that they did.
No.
But Ulysse was the clear winner of that show.
Yeah.
Heads and shoulders above them. So I think she's going to have her place. She's going to look very, very competitive to these top girls. She's another one whose physique is very clean looking to me. The youthfulness of her muscles. I think she'll do well. But you're right. Her height might. We'll see. I have no idea. We see her. Patricia is someone who is how tall is Pat?
5'5", 5'6". Yeah. So
I think a lot of those top girls are like
exactly. That's what I'm saying. 5'5", 5'6" about. I mean, because remember back in the day we were saying that. I mean, she's not there right now. Rachel and what's her name, and Ulysse were about the same height, 5 feet tall.
5 feet tall.
So yeah, so no, we'll see. But I'm telling you that the amount of talent in that class is
unreal. Ivy Rain is someone who's got a lot of muscle on her. She can do really, really well. Danny, if she nails it, it's just a really hard division for me to pick the exact top 5 and the exact order of that top 5. But I would say that I would not be surprised. I think Sarah is going to win. Patricia, I wouldn't be surprised if Patricia plays second. Ashley Jones is another one who I think could place as high as second. If I had to pick a top 3, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
You know what? I'm going to look because my friend's in there. I don't want I would like to do a prediction, but I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be transparent. I'm not going to do it because whatever. But I do believe if things go accordingly to what I think, to what I've seen yesterday or today or whatever, Patricia has no weaknesses. And at the end of the day, bodybuilding's about the least amount of weaknesses.
Yes.
And and I always say to Patricia, basically bodybuilding to me is a checklist. You don't have to be the best on everything. You just have to have everything.
Yeah. Yes, you have to have everything, right? In this level, yeah. She definitely has everything. Again, that's another thing with this show too. Like both Patricia and Ulysse, I'm friends with. So it might sound weird that I'm just putting them both in the top 5.
No, it's okay.
But it's just really how I feel. And
it's okay.
Patricia, I'm going to be seeing very closely in a couple days.
Oh yeah, you're going to be
very closely. So I'll have a much better idea. Although I have seen video from yesterday, I think it was yesterday.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, she looks crazy, and it's improved from when she won the Chicago Pro. I think her lats are even better. And the Chicago Pro was a show with top girls. To beat Lenka in that show, who has won 2 shows this year. 2
shows, yes.
And who placed second also in Texas. I saw Lenka in Texas, very close between her and Ashley Jones. So Patricia And it was a big lineup too. It was like 20 girls, right?
20 girls, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Okay, really quickly, we'll do a couple other divisions.
Women's bodybuilding.
Women's bodybuilding. Yeah, so women's bodybuilding, we have Irene Anderson, Mayla Ash, Michaela Aycock.
Yes.
Rashina Boswell.
Yes.
Nadia Capostasto from Italy. Leah Denny. Very good. Stephanie Flesher. Monique Jones. I don't know if Monique is doing it.
I don't know.
Because she's someone who I follow on Instagram, and somehow she's fallen out of my feed. I don't see her that often anymore, so I don't know what she's doing. Janine Lankowski, who's very good. Anastasia Leonova.
Yes.
Margie Martin. Is Margie doing the show?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Sylvia Mata. LaDawn McDay.
Yes.
Sheena Oleg. Mona Porcelay.
Yes.
Oh, she's very good. Virginia Sanchez. Andrea Shaw, the reigning Miss Olympia, and Rising Phoenix World Champion 2 times in a row now. Hella Trevino, who is former World Champion, and Margita Zemolova.
Yes.
Well, I think Andrea Shaw is going to retain her title. She's just on a level right now that is different from others. She's got all the size in the world, great separation, balanced proportion. She's called Miss Pretty Muscle on Instagram, and it's fitting. She is pretty, and her muscle is gorgeous. Great muscle bellies. She has got youth on her side as well, it seems.
Yes.
Her body looks fresh, as you know. It's just pretty much picture perfect. Skin tone or tan is always perfect. Her skin texture looks perfect. Yeah, I got her winning.
And you know what? I agree with you. And you know what? Because we talk about that a lot today, about the youth and all that. I mean, especially on the women's side, when you see a woman younger, the muscle looks different. It looks, as you said, youthful and all that. On the men's side, is different, because as the guy gets older, it looks greener, it looks freakier. But on the women's side, I do believe that youth plays a big part. And Andrea right now has, as you just said, beautiful structure. The muscle builds are nice. She's not, her body's not fatigued about all the years of competing. There's no injuries, there's no nothing. She's going to be hard to beat. I mean, you have the usual suspects of LA and what's her name? And forgot her name. Margie. Sorry, Margie. You know, they need to come in. Oh my God. I mean, I know Elle's going to be hard as nails. I've seen she's going to be hard as nails. Because at Rising Phoenix, Ella looked great. Okay? Ella looked great. She decided to change trainers, like to get another perspective, probably thinking that it's going to change something else. I mean, it's going to be hard for these two to beat Andrea. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard, because Andrea this year looks better than Andrea of last year.
Yes, I agree. She was
right from there.
Yeah, picture perfect, winning the Rising Phoenix this year. I'm gonna say, so at the Rising Phoenix, the top 5 of the Rising Phoenix are in the show. Andrea Shaw, Ella Trevino,
yes,
Mona,
yes,
Michaela,
yes,
and Leah Denny. That was the top 5, and I'm going to say that they are going to be in the top 6 this year, with Margie Martin for the Olympia.
Yeah, I believe that too. Yeah, you know what, Mona, you know what? I'm happy for Michaela because she made that transition from women's physique to bodybuilding, and now her body is more accepted in bodybuilding.
Right.
She's a hard worker. She's a nice woman and all that. She will do a first call out. I'm sure about that.
Yeah, I see her in the top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Hella Trevino and Margie Martin, I'm sure will be battling for second. Well, they're fighting for first, but I don't see anyone beating Andrea at this time. Anyway.
Not an in shape Andrea. I mean, for real, just at something. You know what the real battle is between LA and Margie?
Yeah,
they've been going back and forth.
Yes, because they're so closely matched. It depends on who's the most conditioned and everything.
Yeah.
So that's my top 5 for that, or 6, I should say. And then we'll just quickly finish up we'll do fitness.
Yeah, fitness. Yeah. Go.
So we're missing a few divisions. Figure, who I think will be won by Sid Gillen again. She's the greatest of all time. Men's physique and wellness. I just don't know enough about wellness.
No, not enough. No.
And
okay. Before we go on the men's physique side, is Andre Ferguson, will he finally nail that Olympia?
He very possibly could. I mean, it's that top. I'm going to say the top 4 of that show. I'll call my top 4, but I don't know the order because I can never tell. The current champion, Brandon Hendrickson. Andre Ferguson. Raymond Edmonds.
Yes.
Who I love his physique. And Kyron Holton. Is that his name? Holton? Yeah, Kyron. He's a freak. This guy I've seen close. His upper body is nuts. He might pull an upset and win the show. And I don't know how much of an upset it would be because he's right up there with those guys.
Okay. See,
but that's my top 4.
Okay.
I don't know what order.
Okay. So about fitness.
I could be missing somebody. And so let's talk about fitness really quickly. I'm just going because it's easier because there's not that many names in this. Jacqueline Baker.
Yes.
Darian Borello.
Yes.
Kate Arrington. Who I always think she gets overlooked in her physique. I like her body a lot. I mean her physique a lot. Debbie Fowler, Oksana Grishina, Whitney Jones, Ariel Kadar, Sarah Kovac, Mina.
Yeah, okay.
From Finland. I'm not going to say her last name because I'll kill it. Alex Small, Missy Truscott, Rika Tiergall, Tamara Vaughn, and Dorina Wilson. Do you have a top 5?
I got number 1.
Yeah.
I got number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to beat Missy Truscott.
You know what? 2 weeks ago, Missy said to the other girls, "You're not seeing the Olympia before a long time."
Yeah.
You're not seeing it before a long time.
Girl, man, if she stays healthy, it's just hard to beat her. She's got her physique. She already had, it was clear her structure was the greatest of any of them for a long time, but now her musculature is just crazy. It's separation to conditioning. Her quads are better than ever. Her back is better than ever. And then her routines are just so dynamic and exciting. And I don't know. I don't see her losing. She raised the bar last year, I thought.
Yeah.
And this year at the Arnold, raised it even higher. So really hard to beat her.
No, it's gonna be hard because you know what? As I just said, she has the body and the routine, which is sometimes they have one not the other. She has both, and unless something's up happens, I don't. She's gonna win that one, and you will see. And I'll give it even one like that. That's the second class where the winner is pretty easy to pick.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. My rest of my like top 5 or so, I'm just going to go down the list. Jacqueline Baker.
Yes.
She keeps getting better and better. Her physique, she placed 3rd, and her physique used to be one of the weaker ones in the division because of her structure not being that great.
Mm-hmm.
She has added so much muscle, so much separation, definition. She was 3rd place in the physique or figure round of the Arnold this year. And this was the top girls in the world were in the Arnold this year, except for Whitney, who was sick. So I think, and her routines, to me, I thought her routine was a little overlooked at the Arnold. She placed 5th in the routine round, but she still placed 4th overall. I thought she was better than that. So Jacqueline Baker, Oksana, Whitney, Ariel.
Yes.
And I'm going to pick a top 6 person as Sarah Kovac, who she's really good. Her great physique. She's spunky looking and very, and her routines are also very energetic and athletic. I like her a lot. Ariel Kadar raised the bar for her physique at the Arnold Classic this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you know what, Ariel, you know what? Ariel's going to do good. Going to do very good. Very, very good. Yeah. And she's
Whitney,
young.
Yeah, she's young. She's very young. She is still to this day, and I believe, the youngest person to have ever won a pro card in the IFBB.
Yeah.
17.
You know what? Oh, about that one. I heard something from Giles. Actually, the youngest was 14. In
That's
bikini.
insane.
Okay.
In bikini?
In bikini, 14 years old. To a point, and it's Giles' thing there, to a point that now there is a new rule. You have to be 16 and over. She was 14 and she won the class. And she won the card.
That's crazy.
At 14.
She's a little kid.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to call this more of a real division, but I think
I was about to say that, but
to win in fitness is
fitness,
another thing, because
but
the athleticism.
No. Ariel, I think, was 17 when she won.
Who?
Ariel was 17 when she won.
17. She's still very young because she's been doing it for a number of years, but she's still in her, I don't know, early 20s.
Early 20s, yeah.
She's 24? I don't know, something like that.
Not even, at the most.
Yeah.
At the most.
She's a beautiful girl too. Beautiful muscle bellies on her. I also think her routines are always highly energetic, highly athletic. I like her a lot. Oksana, we know, has got typically the most artistic and beautiful routines. Her physique, I think, is not what it was when she won her last Olympia. As she was going on winning Olympias, her physique kept getting better and better and better and better, to the point when she won her 4th one, she had one of the best physiques ever. But I think she's not quite on the money. At least she wasn't at the Arnold. But her routines are beautiful. Whitney Jones, I believe, is going to be competing, even though 2 weeks ago she had COVID and
it should be fine.
I guess it didn't get bad for her because looking just days ago, she was training back, and her back looked phenomenal. She's another one. Her physique, Whitney's not a kid, and she has had several injuries, that would normally probably have ended people's careers. Whitney keeps going. She keeps going, and she seems to get better. Her physique, to me, always improves. She's a former Miss Olympia. if I was to say that there was anyone that is going to challenge Missy, it might be Whitney.
Yeah, Whitney Jones. Yeah. She won.
She's
what,
a
she won two
legend.
times, right?
She and
Won two times?
Oksana both. There's a couple of legends here. So.
Okay, yeah.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
She won 2 times.
2 times. Yeah, she's a 2-time champion. So she can't be really written off, but I think Missy just set a higher bar than anyone this past Arnold Classic.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it, right?
Wow, that's how many, man, we like that. But you know what? I'm glad the Olympia in every class is packed.
Yeah. Every class is packed. Like to the point where I can't pick exactly orders of
No.
5 or 6 people, and they might not even be the top 6 if someone else could pop in. And then Mr. Olympia itself and the big boys show, I can't even pick exactly who's going to win. I'm saying I think it's going to be Nick, but it's really, really hard to tell. I mean, it's.
You know, before we finish, you know why we say that? Because in our mind, we probably still see Rami as last year was a Samir Banut year. Probably was a fluke. Maybe he got in. That's the thing.
But he's got Chad Nichols, who knows how to keep on bringing people in. He brought his wife Kim, won 4 consecutive Ms. Olympias. Never looked better than her last. Like she kept on getting better.
Better, yeah, for sure.
And she is, to me, I will still rank Kim as. I mean, she was pretty much the pinnacle of women's bodybuilding.
Oh, okay, you know what? You talk about Kim. To me, if somebody tells me the top 3 best female bodybuilders ever is Iris, Kim, and Linda.
Yeah, Iris, Kim, Linda, and Corey are my top 4.
Corey, yeah.
Of course, comparing Corey to Kim or Iris.
No, that's not
like comparing Arnold to
Ronnie Coleman.
Different eras in terms of a lot of things for women's bodybuilding, but they were so dominant and just clearly the best of their years. And then of course you have Ronnie Coleman, so he knows how to bring people in consistently. So we might see the best, everyone, it could be a one-off for Ronnie, or we might see the best ever Ronnie.
It could be. And you know what? Here's the thing. If Ronnie comes in better than last year,
done deal.
It's a done deal. And you know what that means? He's going to have it for a while.
Possibly, yeah.
For a while. Because now to catch him, maybe Nick. Because Nick looks, because you know what? Who said that before we finish? Bob Chiccarello said at one time, I remember him saying, the Mr. Olympia has to be a prototype. Something that does not look like anybody else. Rami doesn't look like anybody else.
It's true.
Nick doesn't look like anybody else. So you need to be a prototype.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like I said in the beginning, it all gonna come down to when Rami comes out for his presentation, what are we gonna see? Yeah. If he's on, we're gonna go, okay, now it's about for a second.
Yeah. I mean, I saw videos of him, he's training covered up in a hoodie and everything with Dennis James, who's knows his physique very, very, very well. And already last week, he had like a death face. He was dieted down. So we might see something really freaky, and we'll shut everybody up, forever, talking about him possibly not winning again.
If it happens, good, because you know what? Because we've been under Rami bandwagon since 2013. Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate we talked for over an hour and a half. A lot of stuff to cover, though. And I only had this one day to do it. I couldn't do it in chunks because I've had to squeeze my whole work week into this short amount of days before leaving Thursday morning.
On Thursday morning.
Cannot wait to be there to hang out with you and watch the show. It's going to be so amazing.
It's gonna be special. Let's put it that way.
Yes, definitely. And I'm going to have with me Jeff Robinson, who edits all these videos, and he's
Okay.
one of the premier photographers in the sport right now in terms of the quality of his work, in my personal opinion. Stage Time Photo is what he's known as on Instagram. Follow him if you don't. And I used his photos pretty much exclusively for the Arnold Classic. He got them to be pretty fast, and they were, to me, the lighting was perfect in his pictures. People were complaining about the lighting at that show, and he nailed it for sure. All right, Greg, thank you so much, man.
All right, so see you in 2 days.
Yes, sir. Take care. So thanks for watching, everybody. This is Michael Bryson, Greg Ulysse. This is Bodybuilding.
All right, bro. All right, see ya. Bye.
See ya.